There was a time when Ben Affleck was going to write, produce, direct, and star as the Batman, and unfortunately the actor had such a terrible time working with Joss Whedon under the Justice League reshoots that he had to wipe his hand with the role and the project. Zack Snyder managed to convince the actor to come back for Zack Snyder's Justice League for some additional shoots for the movie, and he is returning for what seems like a glorified cameo in The Flash, which it sounds like at this point is going to be the last time we see Ben Affleck suit up as the Batman. Talking at Snyder's Full Circle event this weekend, Ben Affleck gave us a little bit more details for his planned The Batman film with Deathstroke as the main villain. Quote, "There was a number of them that I was kind of exploring, and the plans were to make interesting, nuanced, complex characters, in particular to the character you mentioned," referencing Joe Manganiello's Slade Wilson. I kind of feel like either you do, I'm just going to get into my own preference here, but either you do a kind of massive one villain that is so formidable you just can't imagine how your protagonist is going to be able to overcome it, or you have to really sort of populate kind of, Injustice. These big group villains where you have to get all these different characters. I was at the time really trying to hone in and focus on Deathstroke and get into depth and detail about it to make him seem as impressive as I felt there was the opportunity to do. That's the only detail I have for you. When James Gunn took over the DCU, he came out and said that they have all sorts of plans for Ben Affleck to direct a DCU film, that it just comes down to finding the right project. And then a couple of weeks later, Ben Affleck came out and said there is absolutely no way he'd want to direct something for James Gunn's DCU, that the way they are doing it over there is not the way he would want to do it. Probably referencing the fact that James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to oversee every film in the DCU creatively, kind of like the MCU's Kevin Feige, and that way Ben Affleck would not have full creative control over his film, and that's not something Ben Affleck probably wants to do. He's an Oscar-level director, he is an amazing talent, and he doesn't need to be creatively controlled. But for James Gunn and Peter Safran, I understand why they'd want complete control over their universe. But still, when you have a talent like Ben Affleck, who's honestly one of my favorite directors, and you had this amazing plan for a Batman film that all sorts of different WB executives and other producers on other Batman movies, whether it's the Nolan Batman movies or even some of the animated Batman movies, called this Batman script the best Batman script they had ever read. So when hearing that Ben Affleck was going to originally possibly work for James Gunn, it was really exciting and something for the DCEU fans to hold on to for the future DCU, saying, hey, we do have something to hold on to in Ben Affleck. And obviously we know that that is unfortunately not going to come to pass. Can't really blame Ben on that, but it does make me sad. And it does also make me sad anytime I hear new details about this Batman movie, because this Batman movie had such great potential. It looked like it was going to be different from any other Batman movie we've had, put in a universe kind of like the Arkham universe is what I had imagined it being. We had heard that it was a James Bond type of Batman film where he had all sorts of different gadgets and villains. Sounded totally different than Matt Reeves' The Batman or the Dark Knight trilogy. And with the formation of DC Studios and the DCU, chances are we probably won't ever get to see this script or see this movie get the light of day. However, there is always still the potential possibility of a DC Elseworlds project, whether it's in live action or animation. That would be something really cool. I know a lot of DC fans and a lot of Ben Affleck fans would like to see. Do you think there's a potential possibility that we could ever see something like that, whether it's an Elseworlds animated Ben Affleck Batman project, or maybe even in a comic book form? Whatever you think, let us know in the comments below. And what do you think about Ben Affleck showing up at Zack Snyder's Full Circle event? In some people's minds, this was the biggest piece of news to come from that event. But whatever you think, let us know in the comments below. And until next time, see you later.